Hello there, welcome to this video, adding and subtracting polynomials. In this video, we're going to go ahead and look at higher order polynomials and add and subtract them. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and start out with your prior knowledge of simplifying expressions and writing the results in standard form, right? And remember, standard form is just when we write our terms in decreasing order based upon the degree of the variable. So for our first example here, 4x squared minus 2 minus 7x plus 5x squared minus 3, I'm going to go ahead and use a method called vertical stacking. And what I do is I just take my first polynomial and I write it in standard form. And then I place the second polynomial underneath it, also in standard form. And notice what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and stack like terms, right? My x's both have a power of 2, so they are like terms, right? Same power, same variable. So 4x squared plus 5x squared is 9x squared. I don't have any x's in my second polynomial, and I have minus 2 plus negative 3 is negative 5. Okay? All right, the second example here, again, I have 4x squared minus 7x minus 2. And this time what I want to do is I want to subtract 5x squared minus 3. Well, remember, when you're subtracting a polynomial, you're really adding the opposite. So I'm going to add the opposite of 5x squared. So that's negative 5x squared. And I'm going to add the opposite of negative 3, which is a positive 3. So all I do, right, is I'm really just distributing that negative to each term. So 4x squared, take away 5x squared. Well, that is negative x squared. Again, I don't have any x to the first terms, and I'm going to subtract negative 3, which gives us negative 2 plus 3 is plus 1. Okay, so here are your answers. Okay, so today we're going to be going ahead and doing the same thing, but just focusing on terms with higher degree. Okay, and what I mean by that is we're going to have multivariate expressions with x's and y's, and there's just going to be higher powers. Okay, so remember, in order to add terms together, they must be like terms. So here we have some examples of like terms. I have 4x squared y cubed plus 8x squared y cubed. So they both have x squared y cubed, x squared y cubed. So I can add them together. 8 plus 4 is 12. Second example, here I have negative 9x to the 6th power minus 2x to the 6th power. Okay, and again, they're like terms because they both have a variable x and a power of 6. Now, what are some unlike terms or non-like terms? And I'm going to go ahead and switch my pen here. So I have 4x squared plus 6x squared y. Well, this is an x squared y. This does not have a y, so it's not a like term. Okay, and next I have negative 2x cubed y squared. Well, I also have an x cubed, but notice the y, right, is a power of 3. So they're not like terms. Both variables have to have the same exact power. Okay, and last but not least, again, I have x squared y cubed. Here is x to the first y cubed. So the x's, the powers do not match. Okay, now let's talk about standard form and how do we apply this when we have multivariables in our expressions. So standard form is determined by the variable that is first in alphabetical order. Terms with the same power of the first variable are put in standard form using the procedure. The term with no second variable followed by terms with a second variable power in descending order. Okay, so what does that look like? Well, if I have x to the 8th, okay, that's the highest power, so that's going to go ahead and go first. Well, my next term has x to the 8th and then a y, so I would place that term next, okay, with y's in decreasing order. Okay, and just kind of an example of this, next I have 2x to the 6th, right? So we're really going by x's, the power of x's, okay, in decreasing order, which you're used to. And then notice I have x to the 6th y squared, okay, and after that is going to come my x to the 6th y to the first term. So that's the standard form that we'll be using in these problems. All right, so let's go ahead and simplify this expression and write the result in standard form. Now there's two different formats that we're going to be using, and you can pick whichever one that works for you. However, I'm going to switch after this first video to the format that I like, which is the vertical format. But I'm going to go ahead and show you both. Okay, so first I want to simplify this expression and write the result in standard form. So I have 4x squared minus x cubed plus 2 plus 5x to the fourth plus negative x plus 6x squared plus 3x to the fourth. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to rewrite my first polynomial in standard form. So I have 5x to the fourth plus 4x squared. Oh, that's not. Next, I have that negative x cubed. Negative x cubed plus 4x squared plus 2. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and add my next polynomial, which is 3x to the fourth plus 6x squared minus x. So all I did was place these in standard form, and now the horizontal format, you group like terms. Okay, so I have 5x to the fourth, okay, plus 3x to the fourth. So there's like terms. Okay, the next term I have a negative x cubed, right? So notice I don't have any x cubed terms over here. And what I like to do is I like to slash out terms that I've used before. Okay, next I'm going to add my x squared terms. So 4x squared plus 6x squared. Okay, and then the next term is x to the first, so plus negative x. Okay, no x to the first terms over here, and then a plus 2. Okay, and you can put that in parentheses if you want. You don't have to. Now I'm just going to go ahead and add. So 5 plus 3 gives me 8. No terms to combine here, so I just have a negative x cubed. 4 plus 6 gives me 10. Minus x and plus 2. And there is our polynomial in standard form. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you the vertical format, which is the format that I like better. And the reason I like better is I think it saves time, at least the way that I apply it. So again, what I do is I take my first polynomial and I write it in standard form. So I have 5x to the fourth minus x cubed plus 4x squared. Okay, and I'm going to leave a space because I don't have an x to the zero, or x to the first term, plus 2. Okay, and then what I do is now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add, and I'm going to place the like terms below their counterpart. So I have 3x to the fourth. Okay, no x to the cube terms. I have a 6x squared. And I have a minus x. And then no x to the 0 terms. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and add vertically. So 5 plus 3 is 8. Four plus 6 is 10. Okay, and there is my polynomial. All right, so you can do whatever method you like best. I'm going to go ahead and use the vertical method. Okay, so now we're going to add in multivariate. So I'm going to have x's and y's mixed. Okay, so we're asked to simplify the expression, write the result in standard form. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is, again, I'm going to write my first term in standard form, looking at the highest degree on the x's. So I have negative 2x cubed y squared. Okay, next I have my 2x squared y plus 5x minus 6y. Okay, so that is in standard form. Notice my x's, right, are in decreasing power. X to the third, x to the second, x to the first, and then this is really an x to the 0 term. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and add, and I'm going to place the like terms below their like terms. So do I have any x cubes y squared? And I do. I have one right here. Okay, so minus x cubed y squared. All right. Next, I'm looking for x squared y. Okay, I have one here. So plus 6x squared y. Next, do I have any x to the first terms? Well, I do. It's right here. Okay, so plus 3x. And then notice I don't have any y terms, but I have these other two terms left over. Okay, so I'm just going to add these. Plus x to the third plus 2, and I'll add these down here. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms. I have -2 plus a -1, so that's -3x cubed y squared. 2 plus 6 gives me 8, right? So all I'm doing is adding that leading coefficient. 8x squared y. 5 plus 3 is 8x minus 6y plus x cubed plus 2. Okay, so I'm done, except this is not in standard form. So what I need to do is I need to put it in standard form, and really the issue comes from this x cubed term here, right? That was an extra term in my second polynomial that I didn't have a place for originally in my first one. So where does this x cubed go? Well, notice it's x cubed and it has no y's. So it's going to go in the front of my x cubes out here. So x cubed minus 3x cubed y squared plus 8x squared y minus 6y plus 2. And there is your answer. Okay, and again, any x's that are just by themselves, they go ahead of the x's with the y's. So this is standard form. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is post some practice problems. So here is the practice problem for you. Please pause this video. I want you to go ahead and give it a go. All right, hopefully you have tried this. Here is the answer. Okay, and here is another practice problem. Please pause the video, go ahead and try this one. And really the tricky part is going to be standard form. Okay, hopefully you paused it. Here is the answer. Okay, and just to point out again, your x to the 5th term, right, comes before your x to the 5th with the y squared, okay? Then I have my x to the 4th, x to the 3rds, and x to the 1st. All right, and lastly, here's another practice problem. Please go ahead, pause the video, and try this one. All right, hopefully you paused it. Here is the answer. Okay, and then again, these two terms here, the order is x cubed y squared, right? Because your y is higher than the y to the 1st here. All right, so that is it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and make the rest of the lesson a second video where we focus on subtracting polynomials. Catch you next time. Peace.